the most exciting adventure of your life. Cyclops and centaurs are waiting for you. Angels will be your guides to the world of miracles. Take the power. Become a warrior of light. Save the planet. Learn the secrets of little green men and life on other planets. How the gods create your destiny, and is it possible to change it? All the mysteries of humanity, life and death, angels and spirits in the animated masterpiece Life After Life.
Why are there 4 Karamapas on Earth now, and they even found a 5th one somewhere?
Yes, unfortunately, nowadays it all has turned into politics, just like all spirituality in our age. Every Buddhist school wants to be outstanding, and it can be so if it has a Karamapa. So, each school manufactures its own Karamapa, and it is precisely because of this decline in spirituality that we will create a place where gods are born. Now, listen to the ancient legends that will shed light on this issue.
In ancient times there lived the people of Garnish. There ruled a dreadful tyrant named Earl. Moreover, he was a black mage and carried out the will of the demon Gagtunga, who informed him how to further torment people who plotted against him, whose thoughts turned towards escaping the tyrant's torture. Then, Earl conceived a terrible thing. He castrated all the men, and he himself began to inseminate women with the help of Gagtunga, attracting into their wombs the offsprings from hell, terrible sinners. And as soon as a boy was born, he took him away from his mother, so that he would not know kindness, affection, and love, and made servants raise him in hatred, in anger and cruelty. And the girls were sent to the village to grow up and work from morning till night, providing Earl and his servants with food, clothing, and everything necessary. Yet Earl grew old and could no longer inseminate young women, and people prayed to God for his death and deliverance from this terrible evil. But Gagtunga taught him how to gain a new body, and Earl, knocking the soul out of his young warrior, moved himself into his body. Learning this news, people wept in sorrow, realizing that they could not find deliverance from the evil. But among them was the old priest Manu, and in prayer, a plan was revealed to him on how to deal with the evil. He had a magical stone ring that prevented Gagtunga from knowing his thoughts, and he, gathering people, said, "I know a way to deal with the evil. Let all women who can bear children and all men who can wield weapons follow me." In desperation, people accepted his decision and went to the desolate and hungry land in the cold mountains. Soon, Earl's warriors rode into the village to take all women for insemination and to implant lost souls in them. But they found only small children and old people, and immediately reported to Earl. He turned to Gaptunga. He flew and saw that Manu was leading people to the land of Eve. Earl with his company chased after them, but they had already reached the mountain gorge, and Manu told the men to block it with stones and logs, and they themselves climbed onto its walls and from there stoned Earl's servants, and he proceeded further into the mountains with the women. For a long time the men fought bravely with Earl's servants, and besides stones, shovels and sickles, they had no other weapons. And Earl, destroying them, continued his pursuit. But Manu reached the abyss, across which a hanging bridge was laid. And when they crossed it, right before the noses of the pursuers, he cut the ropes and the bridge collapsed. They went into the mountains. Gaptunga wanted to track them down, but he was hindered by the kind, powerful spirit of the land of Eve, which drove him away. The people reached the cave of the hermit Teal, to whom Manu decided to ask for help. He went to Teal and told him about the tyrant's atrocities and said,
Teal, I know that you master great martial arts, capable of striking the enemy with your energy from a distance. Help us deal with Earl. Teach us this technique.
Yes, I master Sampo, but only great warriors can fully master it. And even alone, I can't handle Gaptunga and Earl.
Then inseminate the women who came to you and attract into their wombs the souls of great warriors who will defeat the evil.
I have taken a vow of celibacy and cannot break it. Otherwise, people will lose faith in the sanctity of monks, and young monks may be tempted and, under the guise of attracting bright souls, commit adultery.
This may happen, but isn't defeating evil more important than the prestige of a hermit? Prestige cannot help people, and doing good, I believe, is more important than adhering to the traditions of holiness. Besides, this tradition was imposed on us by barbarians. In ancient times, holy people, on the contrary, temporarily suspended their abstinence in order to conceive a great soul, so that there would be more spiritual people on earth, and our world would be purer and more beautiful, and the priests themselves deflowered women after marriage, attracting the bright soul of the firstborn. And since then, there have been legends about the special qualities of firstborns over other children, but the barbarians destroyed the temples and, to please the demons, prohibited rituals and imposed celibacy on highly spiritual people, so that the world would be populated by lowly, ignorant beings. And you know this yourself, Teal. Therefore, I ask you, interrupt your abstinence for a while, and let great souls be born to defeat the evil.
Teal did not respond for a long time, pondering and praying. But a month later he emerged from the cave and accepted Manu's proposal. But he said,
To attract great souls, a woman must spiritualize herself and engage in spiritual practices with me, because this will not only attract the soul, but also help it to spiritually develop faster, even in the womb.
The women gladly and gratefully agreed to this, because each of them wanted to give birth to a worthy, great person, so that their people would not die out. Not degenerate into ugly, monstrous sons of Earl, but consist of glorious and kind people. At a particularly auspicious time, calculated by Teal, with many sacred rituals, he performed the conception in the ancient holy place, where the remains of a temple, built by great mages and the embodiment of God, were located since the dawn of civilization. And strong and glorious warriors were born then, capable of defeating Earl. From childhood, Teal taught them the art of Sampo, in which they achieved perfection. But the moment came for Teal to die because his body had completely withered, and the time for his passing had come. Then he summoned the two best warriors, Na and Mila, and said to them,
All three of us must die, so that, being in subtle bodies, we can deal with Gaktungar, because it will be impossible to do so on the physical level. When we kill him and send Earl's soul to hell, then the other warriors will easily deal with his company, and the evil will be defeated. And your bright brother, Knight Gamoon, will become the king and priest of your people. I will explain to him what to do next with Earl's children, who have not yet grown up, how to raise them as humans.
And Teal left his body, and his flesh remained incorruptibly sitting in the cave, and it is still there to this day. Nar and Mill threw themselves into the abyss and, freed from their physical bodies, joined together in battle against Gaktunga. And striking him, they sent him to hell, where they ensured victory over the powers of darkness. Earl, however, ended up in hell, which he dreaded terribly, and there he had to spend millennia atoning for his evil deeds. There, he experienced all the negativity he had accumulated in life, being tortured himself by his own malice, greed, cruelty, and fear. Continuously experiencing them, he was alone in an absolutely empty and gloomy space where a tormenting cold reigned, and only from time to time did terrible winged fish fly up to him in the darkness and painfully bite him. When the torture from another bite subsided, another fish would already bite him in another part of his body, causing unbearable pain. The pain he inflicted on people now had to be experienced by him exactly as much as he had caused in life, both physical and spiritual. There was a lot of it, and only by going through this purgatory could he be reincarnated. And he waited and prayed to be reincarnated as any monster or lunatic, just not to be in this purgatory anymore. As for his children, Teal instructed thus: they cannot be corrected by any punishment, neither by prison nor by pain. From this, they will only become more entrenched in evil. But if any of them do something bad, then everyone should pray for him and treat him with compassion, like a sick person, to awaken his conscience. This is the only way to correct these lost souls maimed by Earl's devilish upbringing. And the evil of this upbringing lived among the people for a long time, until the conscience and repentance of their deeds and thoughts began to awaken in Earl's offspring.
With great surprise, the friends listened to this story, and it became clear to them how important conception is, how important it is for people to become spiritual first before they engage in intercourse and attract a child into their lives.
I want to tell everyone about one more secret of evil. Not only in ancient times, but also now, similar things happen. Learning the secret of conception in special scientific laboratories, Stalin and Mao Zedong, under the guise of experiments, inseminated women with their semen. This attracted a large number of lowly souls into our world and strengthened the energy of these leaders. Their children involuntarily fueled them with their energy. That is why they lived so long, having good health and a lot of strength to do evil. Because the child and the parent are energetically interconnected, even if they do not know about it, and the energy of children flows back to their ancestors. That is why rulers in the past had large harems where many children were born. Of course, they were not recognized as heirs, but they were donors for the king. That is why a man unconsciously wants all women to bear children from him. However, such nourishment mainly goes to the man. The female body is destroyed during childbirth, and a woman is arranged so that she gives her energy to the child and to those men who are with her, especially if she remembers them emotionally. If these are weak and unworthy men, then in return she receives only their energetic filth and weaknesses. If she engages with a strong spiritual man, then by directing her energy to him, she receives his help and support on a subtle level.
Is hell the same for everyone or different?
Hell is very different, and usually special angels see which useful experience the soul needs to gain in Purgatory to atone their sins and place them in one or another area, in one or another trial. For example, some inquisitors who tortured witches after death were made to experience the same mental and physical torment that they inflicted on their victims.
Upon arrival, the friends saw some cloud-like forms that didn't resemble humans.
Why don't you want to incarnate?
Down on Earth, an undesirable fate awaits us. I'll be a cripple.
I will be born in Africa. Soldiers will abuse and violate me while I'm still a child. There's too much senseless evil and lies on Earth, and so little opportunity to learn and find a way out.
You're wrong. Suffering itself makes a person more mature, rational, and besides, they become less selfish. They start to understand other people who suffer. The less ego and the separateness, parasitism, the closer a person becomes to God, to complete dissolution in the divine.